Hello everybody, I'm back with another video. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, then please do. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review, and the TV show I'm going to be reviewing is Heartstopper Season 3. So I'm very excited to do this review because I watched it recently and it was a really good season. Heartstopper is one of my favourite shows, so when I heard that the first season was coming out, I was very excited. And I haven't done a review in a while. I think the last review I did was the Walker Brothers or the Walker Boys. Yeah, that's the last review that I did because I was. Oh, was it Heartstopper? Not Heartstopper. Was it Heartbreak High? I think it might have been Heartbreak High. And I was going to do Julie and the Phantom, but I never got around to it. So I haven't done a review in a while. So I'm very excited. So I have notes on this phone. So if you see me looking down, that is why. I will put pictures of the characters on screen. So yeah, there you go. So I'm going to talk about characters first, and then I'll talk about my predictions for season 4 since it has been confirmed, and then I'll talk about my final thoughts, and then that's it. So let's go. So this might be kind of a long one, so if you want to go and grab your snacks, your beverage, whatever you drink or eat while you're watching these videos, you can, because this might be kind of a long one. But yeah, so this is all that I got to talk about. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so the first character I'm gonna start off with is Charlie. So in the season, we see that they talk more about Charlie's eating disorder, and at the beginning of the season, he wants to say that he loves Nick, and there's a scene that he's looking in the mirror and he's like, he's preparing to tell him. And then Tori comes and she's like to him, that of course he's going to say he loves you back, he adores you. And I really like that scene because we got like I think it was like a 5-minute sneak peek of the episode before it came out or something like that. But I thought that scene was very cute. And then he does finally say it to him while he's in the shower. I was like, I did hear about that because I follow people who have read the book, so I kind of already knew that was coming, but it was still a very sweet scene. And he almost said it to him when they went to the beach, because basically they went into the water and he was about to say it, but then Nick said that, he thinks he has an eating disorder, and Charlie was basically denying it, and he's like, I might have some issues, but it's not that bad. Later on, when Nick is away, Charlie does call him and he says to him that he thinks is right, that he does have an eating disorder. So we see him going through that, and there's a time that he relapsed, and that scene was very, very, very sad, but the acting was really, really good. So yeah, so we see him going to therapy, and I really like how they did that, especially episode 4 was the best episode in the season. It was really done very well, and I liked seeing both of their sides, so you get to see Nick's point of view and Charlie's point of view, and I thought that was done very well. And at the end, when he was like, I think we can do once a week or something like that, because I think he used to go a lot, but then because he was getting better, he started to say to his therapist that he can see him like, I think it was every 2 weeks, not once a week. I think he was seeing him once a week, but then he said he can see him every 2 weeks because he was getting better. So I liked seeing that with Charlie, and you can see that Charlie was like very insecure about his body, because there was a time when he didn't want to take his shirt off because 1, he has scars, so he was insecure about that, and then 2, because he didn't like how he looked. So I liked seeing that because it shows that people do have a lot of insecurities, but the right person or the right people will be there for you, and that's what Nick was, that's what Tori was, that's what Isaac was. They were there for him, and it was very sad when they found out that he does have an eating disorder, especially Isaac. I think Isaac was the one that really got me the most. Like, all of them did, but I think Isaac got me the most because he could tell that something was wrong. Tal could tell that something was wrong as well, but when Isaac was in the video and he's like, and you lied to me, I was like, that hurt my heart. But next we're going to talk about Nick. So I love Nick. Nick's one of my favourite in the whole season because, like, I love him. How can I not love Nick? But he gets very worried about Charlie, and he says to Charlie that he's been researching and he thinks that he has an eating disorder. And Tori ends up messaging Nick saying that she's very worried about Charlie, and Nick has this really good scene with his aunt when they're on the beach, and he basically says that, oh, he's worried about Charlie and he doesn't know what to do. And I think that scene was very well done. And the aunt saying that, oh, love can't cure mental illness or something like that. But I was just like, yeah, this season definitely got me. Like, it was definitely a very emotional season, but I already knew that. So we see that that this has been affecting Nick a lot, and in the end, Nick wants to go to uni or college, and at first he picks only close ones because he doesn't want to be far away from Charlie, so he picks just close ones. But then he finds this one that he really likes, but it's very far, and he's like, oh, he doesn't know if he wants to still go. You can see he really likes it, but he's just worried about the fact that he's going to be away from Charlie, because you can tell that he's kind of like codependent on Charlie, because there's a scene when he's like, oh, he doesn't know who he is without him, and which isn't healthy. Being codependent on your partner is not healthy at all, but with the situation, it's understandable. And he is, 16, 17, so when the aunt was like, this, it is something big to handle, especially for somebody that's as young as they are. And so, like I'm saying, with Charlie, you get to see his process of relapsing, yeah. So you get to see that, and there's a scene where, after the scene that Charlie says to Nick that, oh, he thinks he's right, we get the scene when Nick says that he would help Charlie tell his parents what's going on. So Charlie basically writes it down on a piece of paper, and Nick is sitting there while Charlie's saying that, oh, all about his mental health, and it was a very sad scene. But I love how Nick was just like so worried about Charlie, and yeah, I just really love Nick. Like, he's my favorite, and I could talk about how much I love Nick. And I see a lot of people saying that, oh, Charlie doesn't deserve Nick, Nick does a lot, and Charlie just doesn't care. And I don't think that's true. I don't think that when people saying that, oh, Charlie doesn't deserve Nick, I don't think that's true. They do love each other, and I think he does appreciate what Nick does. I think it's just that Charlie's going through a lot, like Nick's going through a lot too. And I do want them to focus more on his trauma as well. But I know this was mostly about Charlie, but I don't think that's fair to say that Charlie doesn't deserve Nick. I don't think that's fair to say. Next, I'm going to go to Elle, and with Elle, we see that she's dating Tal, which I love them. I think, to be honest, they're the strongest relationship in the show, because they had that time apart, they used that time to like come stronger in the relationship. So they're going on like many days. Still has that like worry from the last season, but Elle loves him and he loves her. And then you see in the season that they are about to have sex for the first time. You see in the season that they're about to have sex for the first time, and Elle's worried because she says to her friend that when Tal was basically like touching her down there, all her gender dysphoria started coming back. And also we also see that she's doing her art, and she has this interview with this person it was just horrible. Like, that scene really did break me, because she just came there to talk about her art, and the person just focused on the fact that she's trans. So, and you can see that that really affects her, and she's just like, oh, she doesn't want to do it anymore. She doesn't want to finish it anymore, which is really sad because I'm like, the girl just wants to talk about her art. Let her talk about her art. Isn't like, yes, her being trans is a part of it, but let her talk about her art. But I like how they did that because that is it's very realistic because you can go that's actually happening. Because I know, like, as a person who's autistic, right, there's so many times that I do, if I'm bringing it up or we're mentioning it, I don't mind talking about it, but there's some people that just bring it up when we're not talking about nothing. Like, I can say I don't know, the colour green, I don't know, and somebody be like, oh, well, that's because you're weird, that's why you don't like it. You think like that. That's kind of the energy I don't like. Like, it doesn't need to be brought up. If we're talking about it and it's important to the topic, then yeah, but the way she did it, and you can see that Elle's face, and I just felt bad for her. And even Tal was the way he was like filming her and so happy. He's like, oh, you got this gig, and it was just really very, very sad. And I really do like the relationship, and yeah, I think Tal was a lot because you can see that there's a time that him and Isaac were going back and forth, and Elle was like to him, well, you're basically doing the same thing, because what you used to say with Nick and Charlie, when how Nick and Charlie would be all over each other, but you're doing the same thing. So they did resolve it in the end and it was fine, but yeah, Tal was being a bit of an idiot. Like, next I'm going to talk about Tal. So he gets worried about Charlie, and there's a scene when so he gets worried about Charlie, and there's a scene when he's saying to Nick, like, what's going on, because you can tell what's going on, but Nick doesn't want to tell Tal because he doesn't want it to come from him. He doesn't want to, like, break that trust that he has with Charlie. So you can see that Nick is kind of in, like, this very awkward situation. But when Tal does find out, it is very sad. You can hear him. There's a scene when Charlie's like, oh, that he asks Nick for Tal's number, and he talks to him on the phone, and that was very sad. So I really loved their friendship. And so there's a scene when I think it's a Halloween party, and Nick dresses up as Captain America, and Imogen is like Barbie, and she's like, oh, you're supposed to be the Ken to my Barbie. It's very, very funny. But then we have the scene when Tal and Nick basically like hug each other. It's like, if I can find a picture, I'll put, but it's very cute. Like, they hug each other, and seeing how far they've come throughout the seasons, it touches my heart, because I remember in season 1, Tal was very like towards Nick, because I know he was just worried because Charlie was bullied, so he was just worried about like Nick's attentions. But seeing how far they have come, it really warms my heart. And he does have a fight with Isaac, and they have back and forth, but it's resolved in the end, so I don't mind that. The fight that they have is basically when Isaac is like, oh, we love Elle, but like everything doesn't have to be about her. Like, he even every minute he talks about her, and there's a scene when they're in school, and he's like, oh, but if Charlie can talk about Nick, why can't I talk about Elle? And Charlie's like, I don't do that. When it's very clear that he does, but I like them three together. Like, I think their friendship is very, very cool. And we do get to see more of Tal and Elle, and I think they're very cute. So that's what I have to say about Tal. Next, let's talk about Tori. So we see that she's going through a lot, and then she has Darcy that's living with her, and at the beginning she's like scared to tell Darcy that she wants Darcy to live with their grandma because Tal was just going through a lot, and then Darcy was okay with it. They're like, okay, that's fine, and I like that they were okay with it, because you could see how worried Tal was to tell Darcy. So, and then with Tal, you see that she's doing dancing, and I really like that, seeing her doing dancing, just because I think dancing is probably her like comfort thing, and I think that's good to have something that even though you're going through a lot, that's something that helps you, because picking a uni and all that can be very, very stressful. And you see their relationship more, and I like her friendship with Nick, because she was checking on Nick, making sure Nick is okay. And there's a scene where she's like, oh, but are you okay? Like, how are you doing? Like, because Nick is just mentioning Charlie, saying about Charlie, and she's like, but well, what about you? Like, it's okay if you're not, she's basically saying it's okay if you're not okay. And being there for Nick, which I really liked. And there's a scene when, this is more about Charlie than it is about Tara, but she's in it, when Charlie helps Tara during her panic attack, and you can see like Nick is standing behind, and he's like proud of Charlie, and I really like that, because that was something that he learned during his sessions. So I thought that was a very, very cute scene, and I don't see that many people talk about it, and I think they should, because I really like that scene. That was one of my favorites, and I think they want her to be like head girl or something, because I remember them saying, oh, your results were very good, and saying that, oh, if you're up for it, you can beat this role, which I don't remember what the one was, but you can see that her face was just like she's very scared, and you can see that, and I liked how we got to see that process of Tara. So yeah, that's it. Next, I'm going to talk about Darcy. So with Darcy, you see more of them and their relationship with Tara, and that Darcy is living with their grandma, and Darcy's blocking the mum's calls. So you see a scene when they're on the phone and they go down at the bottom and put block contact. So before the season came out, people were saying that Darcy is going to be non-binary, and you do see clues of that before Darcy says it, because there's a scene with Darcy and Nick when they're playing volleyball, and Tara's basically saying, oh, Darcy, join our team, join the girl team, and Darcy's like, oh, that Darcy doesn't care about gender, so Darcy was fine with being on the quote-unquote boys team. But yeah, you see more of that, of Darcy being non-binary and exploring that. So that's more Darcy's role in the season, apart from being in a relationship with Tara, is discovering that they are non-binary. So next I'm going to go to Isaac. So I love Isaac. Isaac's also one of my favourites. So with Isaac, we see that he has a friendship more with Charlie, and he tells Charlie that he doesn't feel like everybody else, so he doesn't feel that like romantic, because he is asexual, but they don't know that he's asexual at this time. And then I think Charlie's the one who says, oh, are you asexual? And you can see that Isaac's like very worried about Charlie. So when he does find out that he does have the eating disorder, with the video, when he's making a video and he says it, oh, that you lied to me, that was very sad. He still has his friendship with James, which I think is very nice, because we know how that left off in the last season, where he basically did tell James that, oh, you know, he doesn't feel that. And I feel James is very understanding, so I'm glad that they still have that friendship. There's a scene where Tao and Elle are basically like all over each other, and you can see that he feels like very uncomfortable. He feels like the third wheel, which is very relatable, because I know it's like to be that friend when you're the single friend and your friend is in a relationship and they're just kissing and they just stop, and he's there to just watch the movie and they're just kissing and hugging, and at one point he just leaves. He's like, oh, he's gonna leave, and they're like, no, but he just leaves and goes to Charlie's house, and it was very nice. I like their friendship. And then also with Isaac, the scene that he came out when they went to the aquarium and they're talking about fishes, and I think they're talking about gender, and then he says, oh, what if you're not attracted to like any gender? And that's how he basically says it. And then Darcy's like, oh, I don't think we're talking about fishes anymore. So I thought that was very, very sweet. I know I say that a lot, that is very sweet, but the show is just very sweet, I have to admit it. This season is very dark, but it's a sweet show, and maybe in the next season it won't be as sweet, because like I think that's why a lot of people like Heartstopper, because it is about, you know, love and friendship and all that. So it is, they have a lot, and it's nice having that balance, like sweet and dark, because like I watch soaps, for example, like I watch Hollyoaks and soaps, and a lot of it is dark, so it is nice to sometimes have that storyline or them characters that are like, oh, their comfort, because the show is dark, and people will be like, oh, but it's a soap, because it's going to be mostly dark. Like I understand that, but I still need that. I need a bit of happiness, a little bit of happiness. That's why I have my comfort characters. But yeah, that's talking about soaps, but I can see that in this show as well. And the next character I'm going to talk about is Imogen. So with Imogen, we see that she's more part of the group now, which is very nice. She's very close to Sarah, and we see that Imogen kissed someone while she was at the party, and I think she's exploring more of her sexuality. And Sarah basically gets upset with her because Sarah's like, oh, this isn't a game. I think Imogen's just having fun and exploring, and Sarah really likes her, and she's just like, so they have a falling out. But in the end, they decide to just be friends, and I know some people didn't like that, and I actually thought that was good, because I feel like not everybody in the group has to be a couple. Maybe they might change that in the next season, they might actually get together, I don't know. But I feel like not every person in a friendship group has to be a couple, because you've got Nick and Charlie, you've got Tara and Elle, you've got Darcy and Tara. So the only people that are not in one is Isaac, Imogen, and Sarah. So Imogen apologizes to her, and we see the scene when she's talking to Nick, and she's basically saying that, oh, she never liked boys. So I think that's them telling us that she's a lesbian. I see a lot of people saying that she might be bi/pan, but if she never liked boys and she doesn't like boys now, then that, to me, that more hints at lesbian. But yeah, I did like that scene with her and Nick. And it kind of reminded me of the scene with Tara and Nick, when she's like, oh, kissing Nick is when she realised that she doesn't like guys. So yeah, I liked that. So next I'm going to go to Tori. So we see that Tori's worried about Charlie, and there's a scene when she finds out that Charlie or Nick, I don't remember which one, was looking up eating disorder, and you see that she's crying. And I started getting emotional too, because her face she was very worried. So she texts Nick at one point, and she says that she's worried about Charlie. The part when Charlie and Tara was talking on the Ferris wheel, and she's basically saying that, oh, all she does is worry about Charlie, and Charlie was like, oh, you don't have to, like, I'm okay. Like, I really like the bond that they have. And there's also a part with the Christmas when Charlie's basically upset, and he leaves and goes to Nick's house because of the grandparents. I think they're just keeping answering about his eating disorder, and they just won't stop, and it just comes a lot. It's a lot for Charlie, so he leaves, and Tara ends up going to Nick's house as well, and she's like, oh, you left me alone with them. And I like the scene when she and Charlie have a heart to heart, like when they're laying in the bed. I thought that was very cute. And we see that she becomes friends with this new character called Michael, and everybody's asking if they're a couple, but Charlie said that she hasn't confirmed this, but there's hints that they do like each other. And I like the scene when Tori says, so Charlie's like, oh, so he slept over, and Tori's like, oh, I can have friends too, and he's like, yeah, friends. And you can see Nick just smiling in the background. But yeah, that's what I have to say about Tori. I think if I just can't say my favourite characters in the season, I would have to say Nick, Tori, and Isaac are my favourite ones, if I had to say. But I also like Al, so Al would be 3. But those 3 are my favourites from this season. Next, I'm going to go to Michael. So Michael is a new character in the show. So we see that him and Tori have a close bond together. they aren't confirmed if they're together or not, but we see the scene when he's basically saying to Charlie that he asked her like what they are, and you can see like he's panicking. The way he just sat down, like there's a bench and he just like went like this and then sat down, and you can see, and then Charlie's like, oh, do you want me to go look for her? And he's basically like nodding and saying like, yes please, or I'm pretty sure it was nodding, but you can see on his face that he's like, yeah, please go and talk to her. And yeah, I think he's very sweet, and he seems like a really cool guy, so I would love to know more about him. So hopefully in the next season we can focus more on him and on their relationship and see what happens with that. But I think he's a really cool character. I did hear about that she's gonna get a boyfriend in the season, so I remember when I was watching it, I was like, okay, when is he coming? And then he came, and I was like, oh, there he is. Because I did hear some spoilers before I watched it, because I don't think I watched it on the day. I think I watched it a little bit later. So I was spoiled a little bit. So next we're going to talk about Nick's auntie. So we were introduced to her, and I really liked her scenes. I was one of the people who was upset that the mom couldn't come back. So that's Olivia Oldman, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She plays Nick's mom. I was very sad that she couldn't come back, but she just couldn't find time because she was very busy during this whole filming, so she couldn't find time to do it, but maybe she'll be back in the next one. So I was saying that to my friend, and I loved her scene with Nick when they're on the beach, and she's talking about how she's worked with people with mental disorder, with eating disorders. So this is before they get on the beach. I think this is when she was sitting in the chair and they were at her house, and I think he was in the pool, I don't remember. And the way she was smiling when Nick and Charlie was kissing, and she's like, oh, I can presume this is a boyfriend. And the way that when Nick basically said that he has a boyfriend, she didn't even flinch. She was just like, okay. She didn't, and then after, like, that's how it should be. It shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, what? You have a boyfriend? She was just like, cool with it. And I like that. And next we're going to talk about David. So with David, he's just as annoying as he always is, because, you know, he's David. So there's a scene when he's basically saying about how Charlie's doing this for attention, and the way Nick told him to shut up, because how dare you say that he's just doing this for attention. Oh, he's just doing this for attention, and you just won like your knight in shining armor. I'm like, shut up, David. So we see David more later on in the Christmas episode, and he's basically waiting for his dad to come, and he asks Nick if he's texted his dad, and Nick said no, and he says like, oh, his real family is here, like he shouldn't be caring about the dad because dad doesn't care. And he's like, oh, but dad is family, and he's like, oh no, family is people who give a shit. Like, it's true. Like, come on, David. Like, yeah, well, you're annoying, but at least your family that actually care about you are here, not like your dad. So do I feel bad for him? But then we see somebody standing there, and then they make it seem that, oh, he thinks it's his dad, but it's actually Tori standing there holding an umbrella, and his face, like, he feels like so quiet, like, oh no, my dad didn't come, oh no, poor me. well, sorry. Next, I'm going to talk about Mr. Faluke and Mr. Ajak. So we see that they've been seeing each other during the summer, because there's a scene when Mr. Faluke's like to Mr. Ajak about him coming out of the car first, and he's like, so we're dating now. And he's like, well, we've been seeing each other through the summer, so... But they're trying to hide it, but they don't do it very well. Because I like the scene when Charlie's like, oh, I think Mr. Faluke and Mr. Ajak are dating. So he does it to Nick. And yeah, they just don't hide it very well. But they tried. Bless them, they tried. And I like the scene when Mr. Faluke basically like sees his younger self, like sitting at the table. I thought that scene was cute. And Mr. Ajak tells Charlie that he wants him to be head boy, I think. But yeah, I like them together. Or I think it was prefect. It was either head boy or prefect, one of those two. And I think I thought that was very nice. So the next characters I'm going to talk about is Felix, Nomi, and Sarah. Okay, so first I'm going to start with Felix. So we don't really see much of them in the season. They're just basically there to support Elle and be a friend, and when Elle's at the drama school. And yeah, we just don't know that much about them. Same with the last season. So next we got Naomi. I think that's how you pronounce her name. So same with Phoenix. We don't see how much, but I do like the scene when she's talking to Elle, because Elle is basically feeling self-conscious, and so Elle's basically telling her that about having sex with Tal, and saying about the gender phobia, and yeah, they talk about it, and I thought that was I like that she understands, but of course she's trans as well, so she understands, she knows what it's like. And next we have Sarah, who out of the three, I think she's in it the most because of her relationship with Imogen, and because she's in the friend group, the main friend group. But her plot is that she likes Imogen, and she writes a song about Imogen, and they're like, oh, the song's about Imogen, isn't it? And then she's like, no, and then she's like, okay, maybe it is, but that's not the point. But yeah, I do like her, and I do like that they decided to just be friends in the end. I thought that was nice. And then next, the next characters I'm going to mention is James and Harry. So I'm going to start with James. So with James, he's mostly just there to be a friend to Isaac, and they talk about being asexual. And then there's a scene when it's like New Year's, it's about to be New Year's. So he's like, oh, don't worry, I'm not here to kiss you, I just didn't want to be alone. And I'm like, oh, that's sweet. And then with Harry, he's just basically there, and there's a scene that he's talking about having sex, and Nick's friends are like saying that, oh, one of Nick's friends is saying about the pressure of sex, that he doesn't think it should be this whole pressure about having your first time. And you can see that Nick is just sitting there like he's not saying anything. But yeah, Harry's just basically just being Harry. And then the last character I'm going to talk about is Jack. And if you don't know, Jack is a new character in the season, and he's an author that Charlie and Nick go and see. And he's talking about his book, and then they get his autograph, and he's played by Jonathan Groff, who's in Bridgerton, who plays Anthony. And I heard that he was in the season, and I was like, yeah, that's so exciting. I was expecting him to be in it more, I'm going to be honest, but I was happy with what we got. And when Nick said that he's so hot, I was like, Nick, this is why you're my favourite, because when I was watching him talking about the book, you can see it's more Charlie that likes him, but when Nick got up to like talk to him, you can see that Nick could like barely speak. So I'm like, and then I was talking with my friend about it, and my friend was like, oh, same, I'd be the same thing as Nick. And so there's other characters like the coach and Darcy's grandma, but they don't really have like big roles in the season, so that's why I'm not mentioning them. But they are there. And there's also Tal's mom. But yeah, so next I'm going to talk about predictions for season 4. Please keep in mind, I've not read the books, so I could be off or I could be right, I don't know. I do plan on reading the books, I do have all of them. I think there's a new one coming out soon, but I just have not had the time. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've never been into reading like that, and I'm just very busy, so I don't have time to read like that. One day, hopefully, I will read a book, so I don't know what's going to happen. So mostly what I find out is because I get spoiled. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to see. But yeah, so I think that Nick and Charlie could possibly break up, because Nick wants to go to the uni or the college that he really liked, but he's going to choose to go to the close one, and Charlie's going to be like, no, but you should go to the other one. And maybe they try long distance, but it doesn't work out, and then they break up, but then they get back together in the end, because the season is based on them. They're the main couple of the show and the main characters, so I wouldn't be surprised if they break up and then get back together again. Next, I want to see more about Tori, because she was my favourite character. Like, she was one of my favourite characters in the season, and I just want to see her more. And I don't want her to just be, oh, Charlie's sister. Like, I want more. I want to see her more. This could be for season 4 or season 5 that this happens, because I know season 4 is confirmed. I don't think season 5, I don't know how long they're going to put it to, because I think there's 6 books right now. So this could be in season 5. I don't mind. I just want to see more of her. Next, I've seen people talk about this, and they say they want to see more of Nick's trauma, because there's a scene when Nick basically breaks down, and he's basically saying that, oh, he finds it hard when he's not with Charlie. So I do think he's very codependent on Charlie. Like, I think he is, and I want to see more about Nick. Yes, I love Charlie as well, and I'm not just saying this because Nick's my favourite. I think it would make sense to see more of him, of his struggles and that lot, because I think they kind of just brush it under the mat compared to Charlie. That's how I personally feel. So I would like to see more, because as the auntie said, this is a big thing for somebody to handle, and because I'm pretty sure he's 16, next 16, and I think Charlie's 16 as well. And yeah, I would just like to see more of Nick's side of it. Now, I'm going to see my final thoughts on the season, and then that's it. So I thought the season was very good. I liked how they dealt with Charlie's eating disorder and mental health, and I really knew they were going to do this. But I knew it was already going to be a dark season, so I think they did it very well. I think the best episode was season 4, and I don't think anybody can disagree with me on that. I think they definitely did that very well. The actors did promote the season to be like a sex show or sex season. They've posted, because I saw this like podcast, and they were like, oh, what can you tell me about season 3? And they're like, oh, this mostly mentioned sex, but the sex part doesn't even happen until like the second half. I'm sad that there probably won't be another season until like next year, but this season was definitely worth waiting for. So I know there's a next season going to be worth waiting for, and it's probably going to come back better than ever. And I know the actors are doing stuff. For example, Kit Connor, he's doing Romeo and Juliet, and he was in The Wild One, the movie, which I saw, which was really good. If you've not seen it, please go and watch it. I'll probably put a picture, but please go and see it. It's really, really good. And Petra Pascal's also in it, and Lupita, she's also in it, so please go and watch it if you have not seen it. It's really good. And then you got Joe Locke, who's in Agatha All Along. I think that's how to pronounce it. I've not seen it yet because I'm waiting for all of it to come out, then I'll watch it. But I'm very excited for that. And then you got all the other actors and actresses that are doing their stuff. So, yeah. But I'm very, very proud of all of them. So, yeah, that's basically it, guys. So, that was my review. I hope you liked my thoughts. If I forgot anything, then I am sorry. I will be taking a break because 1, I need to take this out. It's very messy. And 2, I'm just going to be very busy, especially this week. I have a lot going on. So I probably won't film for a while. I have my Conan Gray concert coming out soon. Maybe I'll do a video for that. I don't know. But I might leave it. I don't know. I'll see how I feel, because with the Jonas Brothers, I was going to do it, but then I decided to leave it. So with me, you never know. I could say I am, then things happen and I'm not able to. And sometimes maybe I'm not well or something. So if I'm not well, then I don't feel like filming as well. But I'm planning to go to Oxford Street again soon. So just before Christmas, I plan to go, because I haven't been in a while. And I was saying to my friend that I want to start getting Christmas presents soon. So that's one of my next plan. And then I got my sister's birthday coming up soon as well. So it's a lot coming up. Then I got Disney on Ice soon as well. So it's just a lot coming up. But I think right now what I'm trying to aim for is at least once a month. That's what my aim is for, to film at least once a month. So yeah, but if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out when I post. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.